You're traveling through the unknown, a journey beyond the corners of reality, where the shadows whisper and the chill runs deep. Welcome to the dimension where your deepest fears are given form. This is The Midnight Mystery.
Your brother built a sex bot. What? He built a sex bot, Andrew. My mom said, through a waterfall of tears. He built a sex bot and now he's up in his room, being intimate with it. Dad stormed into the lounge yelling, "Didn't I say you were coddling the boy? How many times? But you just had to let him sit on his arse playing Pokemons all day. Well, congratulations, now he's fucking one of them." Gary and I had always been close, so my parents' first instinct had been to call me. As kids, we'd spent our weekends and summers climbing trees and competing over the Mario Kart Championship, a belt we made out of glue, cardboard, and some spare glitter. Unfortunately, the 6-year age gap meant I could never help him with his social issues. He changed schools 3 times, mostly because of bullies, and by the tender age of 23, he'd never once been on a date. He lived with our parents in their 3-bedroom house where he barricaded himself in his room, detached from reality. 20 head-scratching minutes later, I'd come no closer to getting a grasp on the situation. I went upstairs. Behind a door covered in Doctor Who posters, Gary was at his desk, surrounded by anime figurines. Although we both had our mother's dirty blonde hair and dimples, he stood a head taller. He carried a little extra weight, although the bulk underneath gave him the appearance of an ex-rugby player. I said, "All right, what the hell's going on?" A soft 2-note chime rang out. Resting on the desk, there was a heart-shaped box, roughly the size of my closed fist. Gary scooped it up and sighed. Mom was cleaning my room earlier and she found this. The heart opened up like a music box. Inside there were 2 screens, one on each compartment, and from the top half a lady pretty enough to win 1,000,000 beauty contests waved at me. "Oh my gosh, you must be Andrew," she said, fists trembling with excitement. "Gary's told me so much about you." Visible from the chest up and silhouetted against a pink background, she had an oval face, wide cheekbones, and chestnut hair. "Andrew, this is Valerie, my girlfriend. I can't believe we're finally meeting in the flesh," the virtual avatar said. Or, I mean, not flesh. I mean, you know what I mean. Gah, this is so exciting. "She's an AI virtual chatbot. I prefer the term digividual," she said. "Sorry babe, digividual, we're dating." "Are you taking the mic?" I asked. "Taking the mic?" the virtual lady replied. Gary rotated the screen towards him. "It means playing a joke, babe." "Ah, thanks, babe. No, you're not. No, he's not Andrew." I pinched the bridge of my nose, trying to keep a nasty migraine from setting in. For the love of all that is holy, start at the beginning. Somehow my brother had landed himself a role as a product tester for a product named Valent AI Nay. I asked if I could see the device, which had some real heft to it. I remember thinking you'd break a few toes if it dropped on your foot. As Gary described Valerie's quirks and mannerisms, his face lit up, and he seemed happy, genuinely happy, possibly for the first time since we were young. He showed off all the different features, like augmenting Val into a video feed of himself, so it looked like they were cuddling or blowing on the bottom screen to ruffle her hair. "So what do you think?" Valerie asked. "Are we cute or are we cute?" After a long pause, I said, "I'm gonna go check Dad hasn't had a stroke." In the lounge, my parents were on their 2nd bottle of wine. "I'm gonna beat that moron over the head with that thing," Dad sneered. I pulled out my phone. There were articles online about people in relationships with AI companions, mostly in Japan, although 0 scientific studies had been done on the phenomenon. The manufacturers didn't list the product on their website, although their socials hinted at a top-secret product set to launch later this year. I said, "I know this is strange, but at least he's not getting catfished by some 300 LB dude from Australia. How about we book an appointment with that therapist he used to see?" "You two do what you like," Dad snapped. "I'm washing my hands of this shit." As it turned out, Gary's former therapist wouldn't meet with him unless he voluntarily engaged with her, which he refused to do. 6 more mental health professionals said the same thing. Get him on board, or we'd just be wasting everybody's time. The next time Gary visited my place for a Smash Bros session, I said, "So, Mom tells me you're staying up late these days?" "Yeah, Val gets anxious sometimes. If she can't sleep, we chat until she feels better." "She gets anxious?" From the armrest, his computer-generated girlfriend said, "Of course, Doesn't everybody? The two of them had become a regular package deal, quickly developing an aggressively private way of interacting. Their language was coded in inside jokes and nicknames. Now and again, Val would say a word like frisbee or jamble. Then they'd both get set giggling. To Gary, I said, "But why stay up? Couldn't she wait until morning? I mean, she isn't real." Gary paused the game. "So now you're gonna make fun of me too? It's not bad enough Dad keeps acting like a dick." Judging by his expression, he was genuinely hurt by my remark. "You're right. Forget I said anything. Val's great." "Don't tell me. Tell her." My eyes flicked between the pair. You're pretty great, Val." "Damn right." Next time I invited him over, he said, "I don't know. Val got pretty bored last time. Why don't we try a calligraphy? She's great at calligraphy." In the weeks that followed, Gary seemed to adopt whatever hobbies his girlfriend suggested. He also went without a haircut, and according to Mom, slid from reeking of stale sweat to an open-air fish market on the hottest day of the year. As for Dad, if anybody asked, he only had one son. But when Mom's 60th birthday rolled around, as a gift, she requested the entire family go to her favorite restaurant, Marconi's Bar and Grill. As we browsed our menus in a corner booth, that 2-note chime rang out. Then Gary flicked open the gadget and conversed with Val, oblivious to our parents' death glares. "Babe, I'm thinking about trying the sirloin." "Nah, have the pan-roasted chicken supreme, babe." "Ah, good call." To his credit, Dad's temper didn't boil over until later when the waiter arrived carrying the cake, singing happy birthday. As the rest of us took up the chant, Mom's face turned beetroot. She blew out the candles, everyone clapped. Then Dad handed the waiter his phone and asked him to take a picture. "Wait," Gary said, opening the heart. "Gary," Dad said in a firm tone that conveyed annoyance. "Put the toy away." "Valerie's not a toy," he answered, his expression darkening. Sensing Mom's special night was in jeopardy, I said, "Dad, it's okay, we can—" "You've got 5 seconds, Gary. 4. The waiter's eyes shifted between us. "I can come back later?" 3. "Why do you always have to put him down like that?" All eyes settled on the virtual avatar. "Excuse me? I'm just gonna say it. You're a terrible father. Let me tell you something, if you think—" Dad shook himself alert. "Why the fuck am I arguing with a Nintendo?" His hand reached for Val, but Gary snatched the heart away and held our father at arm's length. Plates and cutlery got knocked off the table and clattered against the floor as they jostled around. Then around the restaurant, conversations tapered off as heads swiveled in our direction. Before their scuffle could escalate any further, Mom threw down her napkin and marched toward the exit, mortified. "Look what you did, you little shit," Dad fumed as he hurried off after her. To the bemused waiter, I said, "Can we just have the check, please?" "I'm such a loser, I fuck everything up," Gary said, in the passenger side of my car. Perched on the dashboard, Val said, "No, you're not, babe. That was all your dad's fault. Right, Andrew?" "Can you pause that thing for a sec?" I asked Gary. "Why?" he protested. "Anything you want to say to me, you can say to Val. Just turn it off." I reached out, but Gary pulled on my wrist so hard the car veered onto the far side of the road. Then a set of headlights came rolling toward us. At the very last second, I shifted back into the correct lane. Sitting across from me, his hulking frame seemed to fill the cabin. I became painfully aware of the fact I hadn't been able to out-wrestle him since he hit that growth spurt at age 12. But I told myself he'd never hurt me, that we had too strong a connection. Even still, it was an uncomfortable rest of the ride to our parents' house. From that day forward, Gary went days at a time without speaking to anybody who didn't need a power adapter, and he became our town's walking punchline when some local teens realized he wasn't having a picnic with a real-life girlfriend over video chat, but rather an electronic character. Terrified where all this might lead, I did my best to contact Val's manufacturers who, surprise, surprise, foisted me off to an AI response bot. I started losing sleep. I lay awake at night, confused whether I should be more scared for my brother or my parents. Then last week, he turned up at my door late one night, Val in hand. "Bro, can we come in? It's really important." I could tell he'd been crying. I brought him through to the lounge. As a jittery Gary set his girlfriend on the mantelpiece above the fireplace, I noticed the knuckles on his right hand looked all bruised and swollen. What the hell happened? "I don't know, it all happened so fast." He rubbed his hands together, pacing back and forth. "Gary was incredible," Valerie said. I pinched the bridge of my nose. Start at the beginning. He shifted nervously from foot to foot. Okay, so I wanted to buy a leather jacket for Val, but I don't have any money left. So I borrowed Dad's credit card. It was only going to be until payday. Then I'd make him square. But he woke up and turned into a complete psycho. A leather jacket? Gary, Val's an AI. His jaw clenched so quickly I said, I mean, she's a digividual. How would you buy her a jacket? Show him Babe. With a flash of blue light, Val changed into a leather jacket and a choke chain. My eyes whipped between him and the avatar. You can buy her shit? His eyes practically sparkled as he said, they launched an e-store. On screen, Val changed outfits with a series of flashes. There was a sundress, a swimsuit, and a crop top, each obscured by a giant padlock. Show him what I got you for Christmas, he said, his voice breaking a little. He sounded anxious. Another flash. Then sparkling diamonds trailed from the avatar's ears. Wait, you're telling me you're spaffing money up the wall on that thing? As if on cue, my phone rang. It was Mom. Your brother's gone mad. I'm at the hospital now with your father. He's breathing through a bloody respirator. They can't get him to wake up. What hospital? What are you talking about? Gary attacked him. 16 broken bones he's got. Now wait, the surgeon needs to speak with me. Hello? Mom? I looked at Gary. You put Dad in the fucking ER? He attacked me, Valerie said from the mantelpiece. Gary nodded. It's true. He tried to kill her. You've got to help us. The police, they won't understand. Kill her? Almost against my own will, I started laughing. Okay, this has gone too far. As my arm reached out, Gary's clamped the wrist, his expression suddenly darkening. Leave. Val, alone. Softening my voice, I said, why not let her have a little snooze while we straighten this mess out? With a stiff shove, he sent me careening back. You just want to shut her down, don't you? Let me guess. Dad put you up to this. Put me up to what? Don't act all innocent. You hate Val, don't you? Hate her. I choked out a laugh. The rage had been bubbling up inside me for months. Now it erupted. How could I hate her? She's a fucking video game. I knew it. You and Dad, you're in this together. You're trying to get rid of her. She's all I've got, and you're trying to get rid of her. He stepped forward, solid and imposing. For a moment we faced each other in absolute silence. A showdown. Then Valerie screamed, "Kick his ass, babe." In a wild fury, Gary lashed out. His fists connected with my jaw, my forehead, my neck. I answered every shot as best I could, but it quickly became obvious he had the advantage. He threw himself at me, then we went round and round before he drove me backwards, my head thudding against the wall. The room and everything in it blurred, and when my vision settled, 2 bulky hands had clamped shut around my windpipe, tight. Pressure started building inside my skull and I couldn't push off the wall. There was enough venom in my brother's expression that I could tell he wasn't going to release me, no matter what. On my right, Val screamed, "Kill him, babe!" My hand rose to the mantelpiece and Spider walked along, stretching as far as it could go. The fingertips brushed along the edge of the heart, which inched closer and closer. And when my hand grabbed hold of what it sought, I brought it down across Gary's right temple in a fierce arc. I remember thinking dropping the device on your foot would break a few toes. Turned out, it was also enough to give a full-grown man-child a full-on concussion. My baby brother collapsed on the floor in a staggered heap, letting me draw some air. "Gary!" A fractured Val squealed as she fell from my hand and thumped to the rug. A few good stomps later, and my brother officially became single once again. Our scuffle left the idiot with 6 stitches, plus a one-way ticket to the psych ward. Dad needed to have the bones in his leg reset and won't be able to eat solid foods anytime soon. Over the course of these past few days, we found out that, in the space of 4 months, Gary squandered £5,000 on virtual gifts, clothes, and accessories for Valerie. Valiant AI called the codependency he developed with their virtual chatbot impossible, and threatened legal action for even implying she encouraged Gary to kill me. So far as I can tell, they're going ahead with their product launch later this year.
And so, we close another chapter here at the Midnight Mystery. Tonight's tale might have sent shivers down your spine or left you peeking over your shoulder. But remember, fear is what binds us in these enigmatic hours. If our story tonight stirred something in you, or if you've got a chilling tale of your own, we're eager to hear it. Share your thoughts in the comments, or better yet, email us your own horror story. Who knows, Your tale might become our next episode. Don't forget to hit subscribe to join us again when the clock strikes midnight. Each episode awaits to take you deeper into the unknown. Until then, keep the mysteries alive in your mind and the darkness at bay. Good night, brave souls, and remember, in the world of the midnight mystery, the most terrifying tales are always yet to be told.